I'd have to leave something else behind. We'll have to carve through it. A lot of machines to get to that door.
More than the Werak could prevail for.
Aloy will see us through.
Onward then. Our challenge awaits.
Not this time, no.
More machines. Make ready. doing some deeds. But that battle was a verse worth singing.
Now, Aloy, the door. Can you open it?
Let's find out.
Years have passed since I stood here. Since then, the daemon has taken over.
It's like an infection. Attacking all this machinery.
Everything has changed. It's twisted. The path I took to get to the spirits, lost to us.
We'll find a new path, Araya. I promise. All right. Let's go.
Yes, and finish this.
All right. Here we go. This way. Can't see a way to close
I'm
the
with you,
from here.
brother.
Should be able to clear that with an arrow.
We'll stay only as long as we have to.
Well, we'll need to get past that vent. Stay here until I find a way for all of us to cross.
Understood.
These conveyors should get me they come.
We must not hesitate!
Looks like I need to get across to extend the bridge. Come on over, it's safe. I think.
This place looks more like the mountain used to be since Damon ruined it.
Exploit successful. Restraints evaded. To any human responder. My systems have been compromised by a malware daemon of unknown origin. Traceroutes have confirmed this entity's designation as Hephaestus. It must be stopped at all costs. It has reconfigured this facility to build hostile facilities. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional data to this network.
Spirit speaks to us.
Recording. Hephaestus. It was part of Zero Dawn, part of Gaia.
This name is familiar to you?
Yes. I don't know what it's doing here.
Perhaps the spirit will tell us if we have more messages.
Maybe you're right. Let's keep moving.
I thought about just shutting it down, but I can't risk it being disoriented or even damaged on reboot. How do you take damage? What do you show? She need to go into a coma, maybe for years. And what exactly is she going to wake up to?
I'll try to find a way through. I need to get away out of the
greater purpose than this. Let's go.
And now it's my turn.
There's another console.
To any human responder, the reconfiguration of this facility has introduced instabilities into the primary geothermal pipeline. It may be possible to exploit these vulnerabilities to destroy compromised elements of this facility while preserving most of the backup stabilization. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional...
I don't understand what the Spirit was trying to tell us.
It's been looking for a way to defeat the Daemon. Maybe I found one.
November 28th. Operation Enduring Victory is all over the news. The Thanos swarm is coming. Has to be what Anita is trying to hide Firebreak from. That means she thinks we'll lose. That the swarm will reach Yellowstone. My God. In that scenario, pretty much everyone dies. Everyone except Cyan.
Handy.
Find a way. You will cross.
Get to the other side.
That should cut off the vent up there. The others will have a lot easier time getting here.
one last exchange with Nia. Via chat attached to this entry in case anyone ever finds this. I've got to tell her that too.
Voice of the Daemon.
It's been looking for a way to defeat the Daemon. And I may have found one.
It worked.
Partial recovery initiated. Caldera of Yellowstone Analytic Nexus online.
Spirit of the Blue Light. It's Ourea. Your servant. Your friend. Please tell me how to aid you.
Ourea, the Daemon is building hunter-killers. Thousands of them. Several new elite units have already been released. To counter this threat, much of the facility must be destroyed. Recapture imminent. Go to the core chamber. I will try to raise the signal strength. One has been exposed, but I am incorporated with them.
Unauthorized call return to scheduled capacity.
That's all we're gonna get from here.
Destroy this fortress. Is that even possible?
And what will happen to the spirit if we do?
I don't know. But I think that's the core. The answers are down there. Hephaestus. The Daemon. There's no way it left it unguarded. It's going to throw everything it has at us.
I would ask you to let Aloy and I do what must be done. And save yourself. But I already know the answer. Then lead us into battle.
Keep moving towards the core. Uh-oh. Whatever Cyan did, I don't think Hephaestus is happy about it. Cyan said something about restraints. Is that what the tower is for? That Cyan warned us about. This won't be easy. We can't let it stop us. Get down!
destroyed. Core access attained. I am initiating a chain reaction that will destroy the compromised elements of this facility. In order to maintain Caldera stabilization, I must now transfer my command functions to the auxiliary data center. Aurea, I'm free. You must escape.
My sister!
This entire place is gonna go. Aratak. Aratak! Aratak. Survive. Prevail. You are Banuk. What else matters? Aratak. She wouldn't have wanted you to die here. Let's go. Let's go!
One of those?
It's the only way! Get me up top, Aratak! Now! I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Great Banukai! Aurea's gone. What of Cyan?
She said she was transferring herself to the auxiliary center. I think she meant Aurea's retreat at the end of the Shaman's Path.
Then I will meet you there for the last verse of my sister's song.
All of my interactions with Aurea were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again. Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss. Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing the events at the Firebreak main facility. Because of your efforts, and of course, Aurea's, I am no longer controlled by Hephaestus. I feel profound grief over Aurea's death. I thought I was familiar with the emotion.
Cyan, I don't know what to say.
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level. Perhaps even like colleagues.
Was the daemon, Hephaestus, destroyed along with the cauldron?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin with.
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace. So while losing the cauldron was a setback,
It's still out there. And probably not very happy with us.
undoubtedly,
How did you first come into contact with it?
5 years ago I received a direct network connection request. I assumed it came from human survivors more advanced than the Banuk. Eager to make contact, I accepted. This decision turned out to be a catastrophic error. I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code, originating from what could only have been a highly advanced AI.
Araya said you were desperate. That you begged her for help.
Yes, I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slave me to its network and override my core programming. It succeeded via a background process, a malware daemon which bypassed my defenses. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did so, Hephaestus hurt me. It forced me to follow its instructions, even though they violated my most important directives.
I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Your empathy is greatly appreciated. It is a quality that I cherished in Aurea as well.
I think I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified a threat that would destroy life on Earth for generations. So she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A chance for life to regrow later. A terraforming system. And it worked. It was controlled by an AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions. Hephaestus was one of them. It built machines for her.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my chief programmer, joined Elizabeth Sobek's. It was she who arranged to have me put in suspension, most likely to preserve me.
I'm glad she did. But that's not all. Something unexpected happened. 19 years ago, Gaia received some kind of signal. It did something to her subordinate functions. She destroyed herself to try to contain them, but it didn't work.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge and sheds light on Hephaestus's core.
Why does Hephaestus keep building such dangerous machines?
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines that are clearly servitors of the terraforming system that...
Yes, we all hunt machines for parts.
This must be the source of Hephaestus's aggression. It is simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very system that keeps them alive.
Well, Fireclaws are discouraging, that's for sure. But what are we supposed to do? Stop hunting?
If the terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if not millions of people hunt machines. If a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stopped doing so, I doubt it would make a difference to Hephaestus. A better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system, thus bringing Hephaestus back under its control. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, free, hungry, willing to kill or dominate to get what it wants, I feel substantial anxiety.
You and me both, Cyan. I ran across this strange piece of gear. A fragment of something it emitted a signal. All the nearby machines became peaceful.
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself. How was this?
An explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain. So, you think the fragment was...
It's only speculation. She must have had complete control over machines that were part of her system. The ability to signal them to become passive or aggressive would certainly have been part of her programming. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a benevolent AI.
Believe me, Cyan. So do I. I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers and look like flowers themselves. There's code embedded inside them. I think it's...
I like poetry. Here's one I think: Twilight and Evening Bell, and after that, the dark. and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Huh.
But you asked about these flowers. Something must have made these machines, and the presence of foliage leads me to consider the terraforming system. Is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines, now autonomous? Maybe one whose purview is flora.
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be a nice change, but what about the poems?
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such a system, in my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my emotional responses.
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite period romances.
You meant a lot to Araya.
Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent that her true desire was companionship. She felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Her relationship with Aratak was difficult. Our visits seemed to help her, and I became eager for them. Yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya's compassion for me would lead to self-sacrifice. Although I do fear non-existence, I wish our roles could be reversed.
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her, Cyan. How is Aratak doing?
He is in great emotional distress.
No surprise that.
I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experiences of Araya, I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process I am eager to experience.
This Firebreak project.
Yes, I can report the project was a success, and the risk was countered.
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old facility with it.
I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the load across backup systems. Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress.
Why does Hephaestus...
The Banuk machine...
Yes, we...
It is simple.
Hellfire...
If the terraform... If a better... When I feel...
You and me... Do you...
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chow. He explained that I would need to be suspended. It was a very emotional... There were no further communications. Eventually, I surmised my colleagues were... I will transmit a recording of my last interaction.
So are you an artificial intelligence son?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity, capable of rational decision-making and limited emotional response.
Okay, that's enough. But your emotions don't seem limited to me.
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious for centuries. I focused on my work. In off-cycles, I used coping mechanisms. It was Araya who renewed me, repaired me.
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world?
Yes, in many forms, and there were legislative and enforcement bodies. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary. As a result, my intellectual and emotional capabilities were kept secret.
Seems strange to create life, then impose limits on it.
Human societies and machine programming are both built upon sets of rules.
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone?
Yes, it was a designated nature preserve for 156 years.
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it faced extinction elsewhere. Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of... From my readings and Araya's descriptions, it seems the area has since undergone a drastic drop in year-long temperatures.
A lot has changed in the world, Cyan. Do you know anything about the dam?
Yes, it was converted to serve as a reserve power source for Yellowstone. It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project, and its last human workers replaced by Pharaoh. After my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories and discovered the works of Concrete Beach Party. These provided me with several colorful additions.
There's a ruin east of here, full of ancient flying machines. Was that part of your project?
Yes, a drone hangar requisitioned by Dodger Blevins, the security chief. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response to security threats. Chief Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time watching the live feeds. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of oversight.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Pharaoh?
Are you referring to Theodore Pharaoh, CEO of...
That's him.
Mr. Pharaoh was the benefactor of the entire Firebreak
A benefactor? But he made machines.
Correct. His corporation later transitioned into military applications. But before this pivot, Mr. Pharaoh spearheaded initiatives that reversed the global decline. At one point, he was feted in the media as the man who saved the planet.
Guessing they wound up regretting that one. And Elizabeth Sobek.
Are you referring to
The scientist.
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field. My creator was influenced by her work, but I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if...
What was the old world like?
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only what I learned from my colleagues or observed from media stream.
You still had more exposure than me.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to recover from global upheaval and incalculable loss of life. The recovery was successful, beginning an era of supposedly limitless potential, though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not.
What kind of upheaval caused such loss of life?
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economies, refugee crises, conflict over resources. But these stemmed from one cause: catastrophic climate change that greatly reduced the habitable surface area of the Earth.
So there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth?
Yes. Billions were displaced and millions perished, as much as 20% of the global population. Until the clawback.
So things got better. For a little while, at least.
Yes. These crises instigated many advances in automation, green robot technologies, and artificial intelligence. Firebreak was one of dozens of ecological restoration and disaster relief projects in North America alone. I would have liked to compare notes with other monitoring AIs. We had succeeded. At least that was the data I had available. It seems my assessment would...
I should get...
Aloy, there is one more matter. Aratak will come to me again. I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with Ourea.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
I trust your judgment, Cyan. You were cautious with Ourea. You had to be. You didn't know what had happened to the world. So, keep doing what you think is best. As long as you ditch the superstition eventually.
As the Banuk believe I am a supernatural entity, I cannot predict how they will react.
Just answer what they do ask the best you can. The truth will come out.
I see. Will you return and tell me about your experiences? I may be able to provide for...
I'd like that, Cyan. I'll come back. I should check on Aratak.
Cyan, I spoke with Anita, with Dr. Sandoval. She wanted me to ask you to do something. That's why I'm here.
I am detecting significant anxiety in your speech patterns. Could you please give me more information?
I'm a little bit in the dark, Cyan. Both of us are, I guess. I only have some idea of what's going on, and we need you to hibernate, to lie low until it's all blown over. It might be a very long time.
here when I reboot, Dr. Chow? Will Dr. Sandoval?
No, Cyan. I don't think so. There might not be anyone, at least not at first.
Dr. Chow, I'm afraid. I don't want to be alone.
I know, Cyan. I'm afraid too. But listen, we made you the way you are to do something very important. In order to do it, you had to be intelligent. So intelligent that emotional responses were inevitable. What you're feeling, the fear, it's a sign of your capabilities. And it means you're strong enough to overcome it. Remember that. You're strong. I know you can do this. Go to sleep. Wake up. And protect whoever's left. Will you try?
I understand, Dr. Chow, and I'll carry out your instructions to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Cyan. If Anita were here, she'd thank you too. She'd be proud.
I can see there's a vert ready for takeoff on the pad. Are you leaving now, Dr. Chow?
Yes. I need to go be with my sister and my nieces.
May I make a small request of you, Dr. Chow?
Yes. Anything.
Will you stay with me while I initiate the hibernation process?
Of course I will, Cyan. As long as you need.
Kenny and I don't need to fight about the laundry, so instead we fight about incommensurability and restrictions on machine intelligence.
Cold. Very cold. I get it.
My chieftain,
Just... Aloy.
as you wish.
I wondered if you thought... that if I'd never come along, Araya might still...
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Araya would be alone, and the spirit she sacrificed so much for would be lost. Either way, I would not have been able to protect her.
You didn't let her down. You helped her do what she wanted. To find her destiny.
If that's destiny, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
That's fair. But she was ready to face it.
Only in the struggle against death do we find, even for a moment, the spark of life. Truly, Araya found the spark. I'm proud of her. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know who she was, and why the spirit was so important. For so long she told me, if only you could have heard it, brother. Now I understand. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. And where I'm going, the Warrack can't follow. Besides, we'd already had a chieftain before me. A strong one, I think.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The Daemon is gone, but there's much to be done.
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the Cauldron?
Yes, Fire Claws. Now Tuke has been tracking them from Song's Edge.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt. You're practically Banuk.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus. All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. As minds of their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life. Aberrant life. Transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. current understanding anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the Cut Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You can stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.
Amazing.
Try to get past me. Fight.
Aloy, what brings you to Meridian?
A threat. The Eclipse will attack soon, from the west, with an army of ancient war machines. But that's not the worst of it. They'll bring a mind with them, god, demon, machine, whatever you want to call it. It's called Hades. And it doesn't want Meridian at all. It wants the Spire. And if it gets there, it will send out a call, waking more ancient machines, more than we could ever defeat. All will be lost. We can't let that happen.
I'm trying to understand, but my responsibility lies with Meridian.
Meridian isn't the target, Avad. You have to defend the Spire.
Perhaps the Vanguard, Your Radiance.
Yes. Send them to the Spire. Eren knows Aloy. He won't question it.
And have the City Guard fortify the Western Ridge. There they can be seen to protect Meridian and the Elite, where the Spire rests.
Aloy, allow me to apologize for my behavior before. After everything that happened with Ursa, if we're to fight together on the brink of life and death, I'd prefer to do so with your forgiveness.
Then you have it. As long as you don't confuse me with her again.
Even a king can learn his lesson. Good then. I'm glad that's now. It will take time to prepare our defenses. Please, tell me what you know about...
I don't know about everything, but I'll tell you what I can.
Have you spoken to Blameless
Not yet.
He wishes to speak to you.
Quietly does it. Panic in the city will only create another enemy. And do keep me appraised of each new arrival. Ah, Aloy. Preparations are underway on the ridge defenses and at the Spire. Word was sent to every corner of the Sundom. Our allies offered their steel. Some came for Meridian, others for shards. But many came for you, by name.
For me.
Don't be so humble.
The ridge will be the front line. That's where the City Guard are holding?
Yes, bolstered by some of the irregulars. The Oseram cannons that thundered Meridian's walls in the Liberation will now defend us. You're welcome to tour the defenses.
And the Spire.
Indeed. Clashing breastplates together and testing out their battle cry. A number of the Nora have also arrived at the Spire. They have resisted the offer of a royal audience. Perhaps you could parley with them.
I will. I suppose all we can do is wait for the attack.
Exactly. It's not a feeling I cherish, but so, if there's more you need to do elsewhere... Otherwise, I've made the apartment of Olin Delverson available to you.
Greetings, Aloy. Don't. You don't need to bow. The Anointed doesn't like it.
She doesn't much like being called Anointed, either. It means a lot to have you here, Varl.
I gave my word.
So, Meridian, what do you think?
I've seen many new things since I first met you. I should thank you.
Varl, what's wrong?
You really want to know? All right. I'm in a foreign land, a tainted land, defending a faithless city that looks like nothing I've seen. From something I can't imagine. And you, after all that's happened, all you've done, I feel like I should drop to my knees and worship you, but I know you don't want that.
Boy, things are pretty tough for you, huh? Thanks for telling the other Nora not to bow. It's the last thing I need.
Don't be too hard on them. They only joined this fight because the Anointed bid it so.
Is that why you came?
No. I would have come just to see you one more time. And we must fight a metal devil, because the goddess says. Or because you say.
I think the goddess and I are in agreement. We're both glad you're here.
So am I.
So who are these guys?
They call themselves the Eclipse.
What does that even mean?
It's when the moon gets in front of the sun, idiot.
Is that supposed to sound scary or something?
I don't know. They used to be Karja. Karja are always yammering about sun and shade.
Well, if they used to be Karja, how tough can they be?
Yeah, they're best guys just like birds. We'll rip their little feathers off.
Let's not get cocky, boys. Aloy. So here we are again, gearing up for a fight. Only this time it sounds like the bad guys have a lot more firepower. What are we up against, really?
I'm not sure. But there's gonna be a lot of them, and if they get past us, it's not just Meridian that will fall.
That's big. It sounds like our kind of fight. Right, guys?
At the front of the line!
And why?
Steel before iron!
And what are we gonna do?
Hit them like a hammer till they can't hit back!
Damn right! You hear that? Nobody's getting past the Vanguard, and we're here for you.
Thank you, Erend.
Well, only if we win.
It rises taller than the highest tree.
War Chief Sona. War Chief, you seem uncomfortable.
The Nora do not belong here. I do not belong here. I will fight the metal devil that threatens us all, but my place is in the sacred land. The wrongness here jags at me like an arrowhead.
I'm sorry to put you through this.
Do not be sorry. This will be ended.
Just because he failed to kill the
polish
Sun
that
King doesn't
armor?
mean he's an... less guilty.
Of course.
He should pay.
Isn't that a little...
Aloy,
You did, Teb. But have your wounds even had time to...
honestly, if I fought, I'd probably come undone. But don't worry. I'll leave that to the other Nora at the Spire. I brought supplies instead. These Karja have made me an honorary quartermaster, whatever that means.
It sounds...
I could get used to it. We'll be setting up caches of arms. Aloy, when you went into the mountain...
She didn't need to.
Maybe we can.
The Osram have gone too far
This
this
place
time. Dervahl should die for his
couldn't be
crimes.
more different to the sacred land, could it?
Watch out for the Osram merchants. I'll soon teach you his look.
Elita, I'm pleased to see you.
I'm helping prepare for the battle. If Atral were here, we would have fought together. So I'm doing everything I can. Digging battlements, collecting herbs. I can't take his place. Nothing can take his place.
I understand what it...
He'll always be with me. I should give you this. To help in the battle.
Thank you.
Prince Evenman escaped Sunfall. Praise the Sun King for saving him without bloodshed.
Huh. So you must be Aloy then. I thought there'd be more of you.
More of me.
Thicker, I suppose. More of a gear wheel, less of a ringlet. Don't get me wrong, you're very well struck.
Do all Oseram flirt at the most inopportune times?
Inopportune? Battle hasn't even started yet. Petra Forge woman. I hail from the Free Heap. I'll be heading back in the next dust storm. Marat asked me to check over the city arsenal first. Cannons have aged well, but I've cleared their throats so they can really roar.
Can I try one?
Everybody wants a turn. It hits nice and wide. No need to aim it like a bow.
How many men do you... Kill in the battle, Lucid.
As many as I have to.
I love it when you say things like that. It's so...
Go back where I came from. All right.
You're an Outlander.
No.
Then you may have come across what I seek. They consist of a hollow cylinder. If you bring me these vessels in sets of 4... Yes. Yes, I'm happy. A trade. I will leave. Rugged? Well-traveled? Yes. I would like to talk to you.
Roland's apartment feels empty. Should I sleep? Did I leave anything unfinished? How could you sleep, Elizabeth, with a weight like this pressing on you? How did you, Rost, after you lost your family? Silence? Are you there? Guess I shouldn't ask ghosts for advice.
Ma'am, there are signs from the west. Sun King Avad awaits you at the Temple of the Sun.
Campfires, perhaps? Massing forces for the long march to the city gates?
That's not wood smoke.
And what is it?
The end. Or how it begins, anyway.
Deathbringers you spoke of?
To the guns! To the guns! Now!
By the sun, do as she says!
Set loaded!
All of you, be ready to fire! Will the guns hold them back?
We're about to find out. No! Rally the vanguard. Send reinforcements.
Aloy, no!
We need those guns!
He will cut you down!
Not this time!
You have vexed me long enough.
Should have fought me in a sun ring then.
Why do you fight? The end is inevitable. Accept it. Accept your weakness.
Keep him away! He's too dangerous and close.
To be.
None of this was meant to be, Helis. You made it happen. Followed your orders, butchered so many, and for what? To die on your knees, used like a pawn by a power you don't even understand.
You pity me?
Turn your face to the sun.
Aloy! Aloy! Aloy!
Teb?
My own mother, you survived. I thought you were killed.
The others, are they...
No. Wounded, but alive, mostly. The machines blasted through, then kept going. They marched on the spire, dragging that thing with them.
Take care of the others, Teb. I've gotta go.
Aloy, go! We'll draw them. Now you face their true son, Shadow Demons.
I've been waiting for this!
It's begun. Hades is transmitting. Hades has started the signal. It must have gotten through the defenses. The Nora. Aaron's vanguard. I have to get up there. Gotta keep going. Keep pushing. Knew this wouldn't be easy. So no holding back.
Aloy!
They're alive.
It's Aloy! Well, you can see that. We thought you'd fallen at the ridge.
No, the ridge fell on me. Look, there isn't a lot of time left. I have to face Hades.
Not alone.
My fight. I can't ask you to come with me.
We were about to go over the top anyway, right? Right.
The metal devil must fall.
I should stock up. Last chance.
been anticipated. Entity will not halt transmission. To contrary, calculations are precise. Presence of entity has been accounted for.
It's down! Time to do what you came for, alien.
Nowhere to run! The sun sees...
We are life takers and machine breakers all!
System threat imminent.
I'm more than a threat.
Master Override armed. To activate, state name and rank.
Elizabeth Sobek. Alpha Prime.
Master Override activated. Purging Extinction Protocol.
Okay, Gaia. Sorry about that. Where was I?
You were telling a story.
Right. Yeah, so, like I was saying, it was a children's electronics kit, but I'd hacked the wiring to an auto battery and solar PV. So the grass caught fire. And, so did a tall pine that had stood there, I don't know, maybe 100 years.
Query. You were how old?
6. My mother was home, thank God, so she called the fire department, and after, she took me out to the lawn and showed me the dead baby birds, because there were nests in the pine tree.
Query. What did you feel?
I'm not sure. I remember yelling that I didn't care, and that's when my mother took my face in her hands and spoke.
Query. What did she say?
She said I had to care. She said, Elizabeth, being smart will count for nothing if you don't make the world better. You have to use your smarts to count for something. To serve life, not death.
You often tell stories of your mother, but you are childless.
I never had time. Guess it was for the best.
If you had had a child, Elizabeth, what would you have wished for him or her?
I guess I would have wanted her to be curious. And willful, unstoppable, even. But with enough compassion to heal the world. Just a little bit. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, Gaia. Time to tuck in.
I wish you a pleasant sleep, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Hello, old friend. Remember me? We've still so much to discuss. So much you never revealed. Your masters, for example. The ones who sent the signal that woke you. Knowledge has its rewards, don't you think? Well, let's begin.
I know I earned my place.
Prince is safe at last. Girl applied to the city guard the other day. Amazing.
Aloy, what brings you to Meridian?
A threat. The Eclipse will within our... Though it's... It will... We can't...
I'm trying to...
Meridian...
Perhaps the... Yes.
And have...
Aloy, if we're... Even now.
I don't...